I've never seen it.
I always just need the one.
Can we clap too?
Everyone got really into it.
I thought we were going to clap.
That's why I give everyone instruments. You can score anything you want on the podcast.
No, the other one. Go ahead.
This round?
No.
Oh, I think I need to lift it.
How are you doing? Well, how are you so bad
It's not
at
a great
this?
xylophone.
You're blaming the...
There you go.
yeah.
I am.
there
There's
you
no,
go.
there's no reverb.
A true artist blames
There you
his
go.
tools. Reverb?
There's no echo.
Can I get the gain up on this?
That's what it doesn't resonate.
Yeah,
This is a
something's
shitty
No, your
xylophone.
complaining's not resonating with me.
Oh.
Let me see. I'll be.
Put your headphones
I will
on. You
be
can
the,
hear how good it sounds.
I'll
Oh.
be the deciding
I don't like
factor.
that.
Hold on.
That sounds great.
It's a little cheap.
It's a little cheap.
Oh, it's my second children's instrument kit I bought. I didn't want to buy another one because my Amazon pre-search thing already thinks I'm fucked up because I keep buying slide whistles and children's instrument kits. And, you know, I'm like, I don't want to
dangerous.
search this stuff anymore.
I'm on my father's Amazon Prime. Like I'm just give me the login. I don't want to
Yeah.
pay for things. So
Yeah.
because I give them like my Netflix and my Hulu.
We
Give
should
me your
all
Amazon.
have 20 people on all of our
Exactly.
accounts.
So, but the thing is that now I know everything he orders and he knows everything that I order. So I have to be like, well, I can't order that.
Yeah.
What's your dad ordering?
Well, my dad is officially now a GI Joe because he moved to Colorado Springs. My parents did, and he does 14ers. So the level of instruments for hiking and climbing
yeah.
and animal deterrent and painkiller
Super specific tools for...
super specific
Yeah.
tools for climbing giant mountains in Colorado, on the
Yeah.
Rockies.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's stuff like that.
People get really into that there.
Can I ask where he moved from?
Illinois. We're
that
originally
is a
from
big
Illinois.
change.
Yeah,
That's
we're
a
from
big
the cornfields of Illinois. You
mountains.
can't get flatter. It's almost concave.
Yeah, Iowa, Illinois. I'm from Missouri and have driven to Chicago a lot,
Yeah.
so I know that
Chicago's
drive.
the best thing we have.
Oh, yeah.
I
It
grew
depends
up-
on who in Illinois you ask.
Facts. We lived in a small town about 50 minutes west of Chicago.
Okay.
And my parents moved to Colorado Springs to be close to my nieces and
Yeah.
my sister. And Colorado Springs is more fun
Yeah.
than Illinois.
I'm from Western Kansas. I have some less than favorable opinions of Colorado Springs specifically. I think
Well-
that part of Colorado has some nice spots.
You know, last episode, Nolan didn't have a mic.
Sorry. Now I'm doing 2 episodes worth.
He went and bought that.
No, and I
In between recordings.
I like this because I have very specific initial thoughts about Colorado Springs as well. So continue.
My little brother went to the Air Force Academy.
Oh, there you go.
And I would visit him, and there's literally nothing for like young people to do. Like a bar in Colorado Springs is a pretty grisly place, and then you're
Yeah.
like, well, what's the culture? And they're
A
like,
lot of it's
mega churches.
Googling how close Denver is.
I mean,
It's
that's,
mega.
yes.
It's mega churches,
Yeah.
and it's also real conservative. You know,
it's like focus on the families headquartered there. It's just like
and also the military. You guys, I'm
it's
sorry. I know you have a lot of people watch. I know all of your viewers, your
Yeah.
listeners who are of the military, and I have a lot of respect for the military. I volunteer in San Diego with the military, but so respect. And do you know what I mean?
a military town is a vibe. That's
A military
Yeah.
town is a vibe.
Yeah.
A military
Because
town
then you're
is a
like,
vibe.
am I allowed at this grocery store? Is this a base? What's
or
going
just
on?
a lot of the
No,
population isn't going to live there for very long, so
Yeah.
they
This
don't
is
want to
true.
meet new people. Like
Right.
it makes sense. It's not objectively bad, but a town's identity.
We could all agree the U.S. military has never done anything wrong. We get that out right
No, we
now.
100%
Not a single
know that.
misstep in the
Everything's been
history of the
deserved.
world.
The Navy
It's
is
not weird that all their
Justified.
commercials are like, do you want to play Call of Duty in real life?
Absolutely.
That doesn't
No, right.
feel
It's
odd.
not it at all.
The recruiters at high schools are never misleading.
Right.
These are the best of us.
It's fine. Yeah, definitely.
Army of One.
Army
Yeah.
of One. Sign paperwork before your parents get here. It's great.
Right. You'll be taken care of forever. You can move up in the ranks, but you will be completely
Yeah.
stripped of any sense of.
I think it, and then, you know, on a big scale, it's nice to give everywhere democracy.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like
Facts.
democracy for oil? Doesn't sound like a 1-to-1 exchange to you guys?
Denver is a real quick jaunt up the interstate.
Yeah,
It's a
Denver's
jaunt.
nice.
It's a jaunt, and Denver's got some great food. I was just
Yeah.
there. Great food, nice museum.
Good comedy club.
Good comedy. I was just
Oh,
out in
okay.
Denver
Were
and
you?
Fort Collins and Boulder doing some comedy shows, and they were really,
How
really
was
fun.
it?
It was great.
Awesome.
It's really funny Denver was my smallest draw over Fort Collins and Boulder.
Okay.
Because a lot of the people who listen to this podcast or follow my stand-up or whatever live closer to one another those because it's so expensive to live in Denver.
Yeah.
So like actually this is easier for me to go to Fort Collins. I would have come to Denver if that was your only show, but out of the options
I
I'd
love
rather
that you
go
went to
closer
Fort
here.
Collins.
They have a really good club there.
Awesome.
Called the
Dude.
Comedy Fort.
State college towns.
Yeah.
College towns, they have the college ends in the word state.
Yeah.
They appreciate an act stopping through so much more than anywhere else.
I mean, I could go on about this all day. I think that is pretty common, but not always the case. Just being from Missouri.
There's not a Missouri state.
Springfield.
There's a Missouri state?
Springfield.
I've never heard of Missouri
It
state.
changed in the aughts from Southwest Missouri State University, SMS, to Missouri State.
Whoa. This changes everything.
Sometimes I think tornadoes hunt Springfield. That's how bad of a place that is. Like, I think the tornadoes are like, they accidentally hit Joplin trying to hit Springfield.
What do you think growing up around tornadoes in tornado culture? Growing up with tornado culture. Did you grow up with tornado culture?
Yes.
We all grew up with tornado culture.
Yeah.
Do you understand when people do you have a sort of this weird kinship with people who grew up with fire culture and hurricane
Oh,
culture
definitely.
and earthquake culture?
Yeah, unexpected. Something, now that all of these
Nature.
happen everywhere, it's a lot different. Something seems to be changing with
Right.
the climate. I can't put my finger on
Yeah.
it. But I don't know if there's a term for this or anything, but now that there's tornadoes here and everything is so everywhere, but definitely I think that tornado is the hardest one to explain. I think everyone
Because
can
it
get
is.
earthquakes. I think everyone understands fires, and they're so massive and slow. And a hurricane, is coming for days and is massive. And you're like, well, here's what a tornado is: a faster hurricane that shows up out of nowhere.
And look out because it might come over here in 1 second.
And it might be here in
Wanders
1
around
second.
drunk for a couple
It's
of
It
drunk.
is. It's like
That's-
stumbling around.
That's the thing. It's drunk nature.
Yeah.
That's
And-
a great way to put it.
And yeah, your whole city is a bar, and its hometown it's returned to. Where it's just like, this used to be a lot. Whose house is that?
Stop. A tornado is an amazing character. We need to make a show where the tornado
Where's
is
the
the
Pixar
lead.
short about tornadoes?
The tornado is the lead. Someone had said to me
Yeah.
they didn't grow up with tornado culture, and they're like, it's crazy. Oh my God, you saw them? And I'm like, actually, yeah, it's like a monster
Yeah.
that just kind of, you're driving on the road and, way up ahead, you're like, oh, there's a tornado, right?
Because you can see
it's
40
touching
miles.
down, and you're like, okay, I guess I'll do it. Can I get home? Should I pull over, lay in the ditch? Oh,
Yeah.
I'll lay in the ditch.
We used to go to the roof to try to see.
Oh yeah, I mean, my parents' front porch existed to go watch disasters. I remember distinctly when Y2K happened.
You guys sat on the porch?
My dad was like, "I'm going to go watch Y2K," and he took a 6-pack of beer and went on the porch.
No.
And I'm like, "Well, you mostly see trees. I don't know what you think will happen to the
I
yard." We grew up on a
love
lake,
it.
and I don't know what he thought was going to happen. But he's like, "I'm going to go watch the Y2K."
Did he
And
sit out? He sat out there the whole year.
the whole year. He's still out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
love
We
that
had to
he
change
thought-
the dates on our computer manually to get him back inside.
That he thought it was like what film, like Independence Day, or just some like.
Yeah, I
like
think he
film
just
where he was
thought
just gonna sit
computers
on the-
were going to go. I don't know if he
Jump on the
earnestly
lake.
thought anything would happen because we had just got a computer. I don't even know if we had one in our house then, so I don't even know what the threat was
that
going
is
to be.
true.
A Gateway 2000 computer or something like that with the cow box.
Dial up.
What's funny about your dad is listeners of this podcast are all very familiar with his voice.
Yeah, we have a game about my dad on this podcast actually.
Really?
And
Yeah.
I can hear his voice in my head saying, "I'm gonna go watch the Y2K."
He was, he's much younger then.
High pitch.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, we'll go watch the Y2K." He was actually he was in Newsies
I love-
then.
Hey Kyle, what are you doing?
What are you doing? I'm gonna go watch bring it over. He's like fisticuffing with the Y2K as an idea.
I love. Speaking of like a soon-to-be dad in the room, how fascinating are dads?
Oh yeah,
How fascinating!
They're like
are
sober
dads?
tornadoes.
or at least some would say
really
just
sober.
tornadoes.
They're just tornadoes.
It depends on if Y2K is
Dads
happening
are
or not.
tornadoes. They're kind of scary. They can get a lot done.
You're defensive of
sometimes.
yours sometimes.
Yeah, they're
You're like, no, mine actually. Look, the way Joplin
are
was dressing it had it coming. I keep harping on Joplin. It's the worst tornado in American history, but I just do because it's a town in Missouri, and
God,
it's horrible. It
You
still
can
is.
say it.
This is a bit, because we all understand that this area of the country, that tornado is 10 plus years, and it still looks like that there. Because I
Right.
call these towns Family Dollar, Dollar General,
Sure.
death towns.
Yeah.
Because I think those companies are such a nightmare.
There's
They come in and they succubus a town out and
Right.
close everything down.
everything
and then,
isn't $1 either. By the way,
I know,
it's
and then you have to go,
bullshit.
and they're all the
Literally
same
$1.
company, and you got to go to they're like, well, we're going to go to the good Family Dollar. Like, it becomes that.
Right, there's one that's better.
And then
than the
all
other.
these towns are the same thing, and it's hard to recover economically from just that, let alone when your whole town is destroyed by a tornado
Yeah.
and then rebuilt by nothing.
It's like what super Walmarts did in the
Yeah.
80s and
Yes.
early 90s to towns.
Yeah,
They
and now
put
even
towns down.
Walmart is like the destination 25 or 30 miles from a lot of
It
these.
is, yeah.
And it
Now it's Dollar General.
really bums me out.
There's
I
a
was,
town in Kansas called, I think it's called Greensboro. It's not Greensburg. I think it's Greensboro. It was almost completely leveled by a tornado, and then Adrian Grenier made a reality show about rebuilding it.
yeah, and then we're all familiar with that person.
Isn't that the guy from Entourage?
I don't know. It
Isn't
sounds
his
like a
name Adrian
cheese.
Grenier?
Yeah,
I
he's
thought
from
that was
Entourage,
a
yeah.
cheese.
The guy from Entourage went to southwest Kansas to rebuild a town that was leveled by a tornado.
Well, that's something I never seen and could have written about.
And he financed
Yeah.
it. So when you're driving through Kansas, like all these towns are like rotting and being abandoned.
That might have been the
And then
first
there's-
Bluetooth headset ever in that town.
No, stop.
Then there's like one town with like space aged city hall.
No,
It's just one weird town that has fresh construction and everything else is rotting.
There's a Soho house there. Like, we'll build the Soho house. It'll be the hub. It is so. I mean, Lake Tapawingo is like a town of 800 people that I grew up in, and it has. I used to be the police officer on a boat there, like
What?
the Lake
Whoa.
Patrol
What are you talking
boat
about?
cop
When you grew
thing.
up?
Yeah, where I grew up, like the guy on the boat who would give you tickets or whatever.
You were boat patrol?
Yeah, they tried to
on
give
the
me
lake.
on the lake. They tried to give me a gun when I was 15.
Honey.
And then I was like, what would I use a gun for? And they were like, it wasn't
shoot
that I was too
someone.
young. They took it back because it was like not a good maritime weapon.
You need harpoon.
they gave you-
No, the nightstick is what they gave me. They gave me a nightstick like I was going to get boarded in Lake Tapawingo by
Yeah, what would you shoot?
people.
Yeah, you'd
Fish.
shoot people.
Fish. You
Do you have
can't.
gators there?
No.
You shoot a gator.
No.
No. So there was a couple kids who went to Florida, but that's it.
You could shoot them.
You could shoot them.
Yeah.
No, it was so they were like, yeah. So I just had a nightstick the whole time I was the boat cop.
What do
on
you
my
do
boat.
with a
What do you do with
nightstick
the
on a
nightstick?
boat?
You call in radio stations
Yeah.
and try and request Joe Walsh songs all day. Then the nightstick never comes up. You just become friends with 101
Stop.
KCFX, the
Stop.
Fox.
Stop.
Slacker?
Slacker in the morning. That's what I would do though, because I didn't have a cell phone then, or like
No.
there's no like Bluetooth speakers or
No,
anything.
no.
This was like 2005.
You had the radio on the boat.
The radio on the boat with 85 D batteries. There's so many D batteries, the boat would like capsize to the left. And then when it runs out, you're like, oh, how much? It's cheaper to buy a new radio than the
Than
D batteries
batteries,
to like
yeah.
recharge your thing.
I would watch a serialized crime drama called Teenage Lake Cop.
I wrote a show
great.
called
You should.
called Boat Patrol, which is just about a guy going back to become the boat cop. He's not 15, but it's
That's the
basically my
secret
encounters
sauce.
with those things. It's just a script sitting on my computer.
Shop it
Maybe one of
around.
these years.
Go ahead,
Oh,
someone take it.
The thing is, I know it's the untouchably successful and rising high television industry. Now is the time to get in. There's
I
so
can see
much
this on
money.
green lighting CBS.
People are into
Everything's being greenlit. Nothing's being down.
Nothing.
What's it? Upsizing is what's happening everywhere.
upsizing.
They're like, who doesn't want some money to make a project? And everyone's super into it. I think if we can all agree on something, it's that the tech industry fixed television.
100%.
I always thought cable needed to be worse and more expensive and more fragmented, and that way you can't find the stuff you want.
Right.
That's it.
What is that?
It's just a little horn from the children's musical instrument kit.
I like the second it took for the sound to come out. You were just
You could
breathing for
hear
a
the
second.
air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a momentum-based
Well,
horn.
we got to decide. We got to have a decision as to what it was going to sound like right before you did it.
There's the brief moment
And then
you
then
see
it
someone
came
you
out.
don't know how they're going to sound.
And then you're like, oh, yep, no, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wrong.
There's a couple horns floating around in here. Someone told me this was a whistle. I got in an
What's it
argument with someone on this
called?
podcast.
It looks
A
like a
horn.
plunger.
It's a horn. That's a horn.
Okay.
All right, calm down.
Isn't that
So
a horn?
That was
that's a horn.
better.
Did you blow out?
Yeah.
It's
I
a
think
horn.
it might technically be a reed instrument. If that's the
No, don't-
mechanism.
There's no second
There's
hole.
no reed. There has to be a reed for it to be a reed
But
instrument.
it's got a
Yeah.
rubber reed.
a rubber reed.
It's not air on the frame that's
You know-
making the sound, which would be a whistle.
I'm not here to fight.
If there's anything everyone cares about,
You know what it isn't? It's not a shitty xylophone. That's what
Yeah.
it isn't.
come on, man. We
It's
can't cuss
very
on here.
cheap.
I'm sorry.
No, we
Well,
can't.
then I don't think we can read
Is
it.
that true?
Phil Morris, very xylophobic is what I'll call him on this. Hates the multicolored Wow June 1st
No.
xylophone.
Wow.
I had no problem with the colors.
Wow. He didn't have any problem.
Phil
with the
Morris,
colors.
hornophobe, xylophobe.
I like this thing. I've been playing this. This is fun.
Wow, loves the maraca though.
There you go.
Okay, Jen.
Yeah.
Let's get
There will be a
started.
separate intro that I've recorded that'll be independent of all of this.
Really?
This one was
Yeah.
good though.
Oh
I
my
had fun.
god.
You
Has
say-
has it already been recorded? Can I influence it,
No,
or is
you
it
can
done?
influence it.
Cool.
It hasn't happened yet.
Cool, cool,
The day
cool.
before it comes out, I'll record it. That way, if anything drastic changes,
It happens
in
in
the world.
my life
in your life
before.
or just in the world.
Okay, cool.
Like the OJ chase really threw off one of my intros
Stop.
because I was behind. I had it DVR'd, so I just got around to that. I'm behind.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Y2K really took my
Stop.
parents' TiVo out. This is not a joke. One time TiVo sponsored this podcast.
Nice.
Oh,
This was like, and I was like, what? Like, can we send you a TiVo? And I'm like, in a DeLorean? Like, I don't understand
yeah,
how the
yeah,
TiVo
yeah,
would
yeah,
possibly
yeah,
get
yeah.
to me. But they were trying to get into the weird, like, make an Apple TV or a Roku that also DVRs your stuff. And I was just like, this was like 2021. And I'm like, I just think you're just a little
Right.
late to this TiVo.
Also, they don't sponsor you anymore, right?
No.
Great. So, TiVo stuff looks like it's Fisher Price. Mm-hmm. It looks like Fisher Price.
And it has the little guy, the alien-y looking box
Right.
guy. And it does. And it was
It's-
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was a real short
It
window.
was like the size of
That
a
was
VCR
short-
that they were like, hook this up as your box. I'm like, a Roku is a thumb drive.
It was a real short window of marketing that
Yeah.
they got in there
2000s.
with. I mean,
It was
like
the
2
Lost
years.
era. It was like two
Yeah,
of the
it was
hottest
Lost.
seasons of
Diva,
Lost.
because you can get through the commercials on Lost or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire
Something
or
else I've
something
never
like
seen.
that.
Lost.
Oh yeah, it's good. I like it,
Sure.
but it only feels like that era of television.
I'm rewatching Curb right now, and there's a big TiVo episode. I think it's like 2007.
Really,
Yep.
that one I haven't seen.
Okay.
Everyone got mad last episode because I haven't watched Seinfeld.
Ever?
I've seen a couple episodes.
I haven't seen
and, like, sketch
Friends,
things. See,
ever.
I think it's just
Ever.
hard. How do you dive into these things late? Is like a big. There's a million episodes. It's all I do is
Seinfeld holds up. Friends age like milk.
Well,
Really?
Friends isn't.
So
any-
it's cheese.
It's
So it's my
it's not even
favorite
a
thing.
pun. It's like stop.
I don't know. Right now I hate on shows when they only release one episode, or like House of the Dragon, the show I really like, the Game of
Okay.
Thrones thing. They're like 8 episodes a season, 3 years between them, and I'm like, what are we doing?
That
I'm
is
not
weird.
excited for this
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
But then I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I get into Seinfeld, which had 24 a year every year? And I'm like, well, that's too many. I think I just mad.
I think you're just upset.
But it feels like there's not that many, not even just for House of the Dragon, which is basically movies. This show, every episode's like a
Okay.
movie.
Okay.
But it feels like a comedy comes out, Hacks,
I
or
love
something
Hacks.
like that. And you're like,
But you got to wait.
very few episodes, really far in between the seasons.
Yeah.
Do you know if it's coming back? And it's like that with a lot of things. It doesn't feel like the Righteous Gemstones. 8 or 9 episodes a season. When is the next one? Is it happening? Versus Parks and Rec, which was 24 a season, took a break over the holidays.
Right.
And then you just...
like a proper fucking TV show.
yeah. Felt good pacing.
I mean, the tech platforms are tripping over their dicks into reinventing the cable TV model, which
And then they'll need to reinvent it again once they do that.
maybe, but the reason you get long seasons is because the goal of the show is to keep butts in seats through ads. So you order more with commercial breaks. It's a better, everyone agrees it's a better system, but we have to
well, there's just...
dovetail back into it.
Yeah,
Like,
we can't just grow infinitely forever, and that's been the down. It's like we have to be better than we were last June as a company or whatever. If you're Netflix or
Right.
whomever, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, that's why can't we just be okay with making $1 billion a day forever? Why does it have to be
Right.
1.1 billion next June
Because it doesn't make
1st?
the shareholders richer.
I was just gonna say
they are the ones
That's how I always think.
who
Like,
need the money.
I hope
that.
on my deathbed, I realize I've created enough value for shareholders.
Yeah.
In my life, I hope they're all there.
They're all gathered around.
I will call my family various shareholders. I'm like, have I created enough value
God, I love
for
it.
you? Do I have enough exponential growth for you guys?
They'll have charts and stuff.
It'll just be 5 NFTs virtually shown in my room that will be my shareholders.
Remember
beautiful.
NFTs? Remember?
Oh yeah, that
It
month was crazy.
So fast. I got bombarded with, you need to make an NFT. You need to make that into an NFT. And I was just like, I will absolutely not try to figure any of that out.
Everyone who really wanted to force me to make my comedy into an NFT has about 7 different job titles since they told me to do that.
Right?
And you're like, this is
Dude, when the money people decide we're going to turn this corner, we're going to make
you're talking about
money
the
on this
Monopoly
thing.
Man.
The Monopoly Man.
That's how poor I am. That's what I
It's like
picture when you say the
yeah,
money
the
people.
money
I'm like, the
I-
dog?
It's just the Monopoly
I
Man
love
and
you. I
and Mitt
love
Romney.
you.
It's just those two.
Mitt
guys.
Romney?
Mitt Romney's
Romney.
like AI's the thing. So then the rest of us civilians just get pummeled with AI like
Yeah.
propaganda for the next 6 months. Like
Yes.
I said this on here one time before.
I remember.
To the late wonderful Kenny DeForest, but I was like, Nelly warned us all when he was like, underlay mama, AI,
Underlay, oh.
You get a maraca.
That was good. I don't like being reminded of Christmas, actually. Get this
The
away
sleigh
from
bells?
me. Get this
Saddest
away
thing.
from me. I'm
right,
not
Scrooge.
a good holiday
This
person.
one's a horn.
Okay.
It's a
It's
crocodile.
a reed, actually. Remember
This
that? Remember
would
we
be
fought
more.
about that?
Okay, so this is a little green.
Trying to see what else
I don't know
have.
who else is.
I really
putting
like
notes on
easing
this.
into it like this.
Hold on.
Oh, no one knew what that was going to. That's a whistle.
that's
That's a whistle.
This, you know where I got taken back to? Lifeguarding.
Oh.
1993,
Yeah.
4.
Did they give you
Yeah.
a gun?
They didn't, but we used to be hungover from the night before.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've
we would
lifeguard-
sit in the
loaf-geared.
lifeguard chair.
Loaf-geared.
Loaf-geared. And we would sit in the lifeguard chair and we would have sunglasses on and we would be sitting just like this. And me and my girlfriend, we mastered the art of this. Ready?
Just slowly moving while asleep. You're like Ferris
Do you
Bueller
see
bedding
me?
yourself.
Do you see how I'm looking at the pool?
Well,
Do you see?
I have always wondered because I was a lifeguard as well, freshwater, and
you were a boat cop and a lifeguard.
yeah,
Wow.
and at Boy Scout
Freshwater.
camp, I was lifeguard at Boy Scout camp,
Freshwater.
and you're just like you're looking back, you're like, what a job title for a child. Guardian
This is what I'm
of
saying.
life. If you wrote that job title down, you're like, how old do you think this person should be? If you're translating this, and they're like, oh, well, if their parents can drop them off at guarding life.
I got to put down my sour straws real quick. There's a kid
Yeah,
driving.
I just rode my bike to guarding lives.
Wait, and I babysat at like 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
Like
nuts.
in charge of a child's everything.
Yeah.
But you did fine.
I mean, I don't know what the kid's doing now, but
I think the same thing, but a lot of that came from, well, no one wants to spend a lot of money to have someone make sure their kid lives.
for sure.
Like,
For
what's
sure.
the least I can skirt by for a
For
kid
sure.
alive
For sure.
tomorrow?
I cannot believe that we were able to guard a pool.
Yeah, a whole guardian of life is like, has acne. It's just a crazy job title for kids. Like, pool looker.
Yeah.
Feels like, or just immune to chlorine.
Yeah.
Because I worked at a pool and I like swam.
Oh, yeah.
And you just, those first few days, once the pool has been shocked with the extra chlorine, and
Yeah.
you just feel it like shoving your pores in and everything. I have like PT.
Just go and open up your eyes
I
just
know,
to do it.
hyperchlorinated.
I'm slow because of that time. Like I'm slow now because of that time.
Probably, it's probably not good to have drank and sniffed chlorine.
I know, but if you tell me not to do something, especially as a kid,
Yeah.
I needed to try it.
Yeah.
Oh, I open my eyes in the pool all the time. I just wanted to see what was in there.
Best.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It's kind of fun.
And you're just like, and you know, none of these are, it's not like a private pool where they're like, what's the least I can put in to make
Yeah.
it? These are just like, we have to shock this because it's the piss hole.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
So many kids.
And we have to make it to where everyone doesn't know that.
I've peed in a pool.
Oh, yeah. Probably this fiscal year.
Because
You peed in the
I've
pool
been
on
told
purpose?
not
Did you
to.
pee in a pool on purpose?
Yeah, 100%.
Damn.
What if you have to
Because
pee?
you're told
Not
not
in the pool.
to.
You go to the bathroom.
Yeah, but don't you want to see if anything happens? You
Right,
pee,
like
you
there's
just
episode
look
of Pete
down.
and Pete where they put before that show was just called T and T, but this was Pete and Pete after they both peed in the pool, and they pee and it does all turn green because they have the chemical in it and they get
have the
embarrassed about it or
chemical.
whatever. And then I don't think that chemical is ever real.
I think so. They did that in Grown Ups as well.
The movie Grown Ups.
Yep.
I don't
That's your
remember that.
reference point? Is the movie Grown
That's
Ups?
the only movie I've ever seen.
It's in the trailer. I know.
It's in the
I
trailer.
haven't seen the movie, but
They were all in individual trailers
that's
the whole time they shot
being in
the
the
movie.
pool is
Okay.
a set piece.
You can
in-
say that you've seen the movie.
I haven't seen the movie. I never would. I would never see that.
You can say it. It's okay.
I think Adam Sandler's funny.
No one's saying Adam Sandler's not funny.
Adam Sandler's
no one,
great.
No one's like, I haven't. Grown Ups will make me decide whether or not I think he's funny.
It's
No
not.
one. No one is that person. No one's. I'm on the fence, and Grown Ups is what
Uncut Gems is why he's so funny.
he's so wonderful.
Uncut
in
Gems
that.
is why he's so funny.
Adam Sandler is so good. He'd create a film franchise to give his deadbeat friends
Yes.
professional income.
I mean,
Yeah.
Like, that's how
they don't
good
make
of a
him
guy
like
he
that
is.
anymore.
Yeah.
They just don't make him like that anymore.
Friends.
Raise that kid, okay?
Okay,
Raise that
cool.
kid.
Yeah.
All right.
If
I
you need
think
any more help, call me.
I'm certain I've talked about this on here before
You have.
about seeing Adam Sandler do stand up.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me.
I saw him do stand up at Dynasty Typewriter like 2 days before COVID. This was like March 8th of 2020. And he had Rob Schneider open. This was before we all knew Rob Schneider as we do now on Accident. Everyone complains about the Kardashians and how we all know about them without trying. I know
Right.
so much more about Rob Schneider against my will than Kim Kardashian.
Stop it.
I've seen both of their 3-minute videos, and only one of them was fun.
Fair.
I know so much more about Rob Schneider accidentally than I do any. I don't really know any, but like Kardashians,
Well,
but Rob
Patreon.
Schneider came out to open, and Adam Sandler was like, "Hey, I got my friend. He gonna come out here. You're funny. You love this guy, Rob Schneider." And Rob Schneider came out. And he's dressed like a Newsies guy, literally. Like
He wears a fedora, little cap, yeah.
and the vest,
Such a rough
with the rolled
look.
up sleeves.
It's a rough look.
He started his set with he goes, "This Bernie Sanders guy." First
God.
words out of his mouth. This Bernie Sanders guy, what, everything's just going to be free?
No.
And then he starts to do a Bernie Sanders impression that is so bad.
No.
It's just like, hey, you guys want to get the health care? Who wants the health care? And it's bombing. So
my God.
45 seconds in, Adam Sandler got on the God mic and he goes, it's not working out today, buddy. He's like, it's Robbie. They don't like it. They don't like the joke. Sorry, buddy. And Rob Schneider thinks it's a bit. So
not.
he's sort of like riffing, and then Adam Sandler comes walking out on stage with God mic. He's like, "No, you could
Do something
I'll
else."
see you in the green room, buddy. It's
Oh, you see he
okay."
kicked him
And then
off stage?
he kicks him off stage less than a minute into this impression,
That's
and then he just
incredible.
starts his set. And I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
"This
I
is
love
the best
him.
life can get." And then I had a cough on the way home.
Well earned. Well
Yeah.
earned.
It was so funny.
My wife used to work at the LA Zoo and has the story of Rob Schneider throwing a fit because you can like feed the giraffes. They like give you some
Why?
grass, and
God,
they
I
wouldn't give Rob Schneider
Information. You can
more-
feed the giraffes information.
I hate
he
it.
cut it off
They
early.
wouldn't give him more grass to feed the giraffes, and he threw a big fit at the zoo.
Well,
you
it's
know
Rob
what?
Schneider. He threw a little fit.
Yeah. He threw. These are the people we let be in charge of things. Incredible.
This is sometimes I'm like, is Adam Sandler too good of a friend?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very loyal. Very loyal.
Very loyal.
Because Rob Schneider's still all the time around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway.
we
Did
should
you hear
probably
that he like spent his life savings making his version of Louis? Like when Louis was successful, Rob Schneider made his own "I'm a middle-aged white guy and here are my grievances" show.
Oh, I'd
I
watch
remember
it.
that. That was on Netflix. It was like called Rob.
It exists, yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Rob.
It was like 2 seasons. Yeah.
I thought that was just the verb for what he did to other people's money
Right.
to make that.
I think he had to finance it himself, which was the
Just him
Aw.
and the
hard.
guy who made Godfather.
Right. And like Megapolis.
Just him and Francis Ford Coppola,
Just him and
the
everyone,
two
just- yeah,
prestige self-financiers of Hollywood. Rob Schneider uses all of his money to get Adam Driver to look through a telescope. That's all I know about. What's it called? Megapolis?
Megapolis.
Megalopolis.
Megapolis.
I don't know where the vowels are in it, but
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
I cannot wait. It got the worst reviews it can. Like no one's buying it. I can't wait.
Did you
I
guys
mean,
see
IMAX
Southland
is gonna,
Tales?
huh?
You seen Southland
Stop!
Tales?
You brought up Southland Tales on the last
It's important. It's important.
I haven't.
I'll watch Megapolis. If you tell me a crazy guy who was good at something 50 years ago spent all of his money on
I'm
something,
100%
I will watch this a
watching it.
million%.
We're
And-
going to IMAX.
Oh my! It's in IMAX.
It's going to be. I mean, that's the only place. It's like okay. We'll do it.
Yeah, I love the IMAX. I live in Toluca Lake, so I walk up to the Universal IMAX sometimes.
Well, we're gonna go see it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When is it? When does it come out?
Like next week.
You check here, not even a watch.
For movie watch.
You have a tattoo that says the date Megapocalypse comes out.
Are you sure you want this?
I have this date. It wouldn't be fast.
I love the idea. I just love it. You hear like, oh, it's got a 6-minute standing ovation, and then people are like, yeah, because they were happy it was done.
Yeah.
Everyone was just applauding the fact that it ended.
Also,
Also,
6 minutes isn't a lot.
Not there.
Nope. 10,
Really?
10, 11, 13.
Yeah.
that long.
Mm-hmm.
6 minute at Cannes now. They only show
you
2
clapping
movies,
the
and
whole
it's a
time?
week long.
You're clapping the whole time. I was at Cannes a couple years ago, and I saw the David Bowie documentary that was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw like the midnight screening or whatever, and everyone sits there. David Bowie wasn't there, of course, but everyone watches the movie.
That would have been
Where
a
was
get
he?
then.
It would have been a get. Then
busy?
I wouldn't have been able to get that ticket. But they all sit and watch the filmmakers and the actors. It's tradition. They sit there and watch the film. Maybe like Tom Cruise went or whatever. Actually, that was the year Maverick was there. Tom Cruise. But and then after you all are clapping and you stand up and it's just tradition. It's Cannes is like their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's Francis. It's fabulous.
So
And
does
you just
every
clap for
movie
everyone.
get a standing O?
Every movie gets a standing ovation, and every movie gets a clap for a long time.
So it's not
And
special.
they seem to all get sound bites
It's not
or
special.
word or like a phrase from a review to show how great it was that
Yeah.
can give you like a good running start into people actually seeing whether or not it's good.
Mm-hmm.
At least people go to see movies, and that's nice.
That's cool.
It's the most amazing theater.
It's all at one theater,
Well,
or like there is a primary
there's a
one.
ton of, but then there's the primary one. But it's got, speakers like literally under your chair everywhere. It's the most incredible movie
I am
theater.
going to continue to say on every episode of this podcast that I don't know why movie theaters aren't promoting their sound as the primary reason to come.
Absolutely.
You're
I
not
wanna
wrong.
move-
You are not wrong.
I love the Nicole
Yeah.
Kidman ad. I think it's fun. I think AMC should be showing ads on TV that's like, come here. You don't have to change up and down on your volume button every 3 seconds.
Right.
You don't have
Our
to go
sound,
louder,
our
louder, louder,
sound,
quiet,
our
quiet,
sound.
quiet, or half mute or captions if you don't need them. You know what I mean? It's just the audio in Dune 2 was the craziest thing I've ever experienced.
seen it yet.
And then I went and saw Civil War. And the audio was the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was the audio production in these things was incredible. I saw
Girls.
Furiosa in IMAX, and the audio it's
They're
that's what
beautiful.
they should. I mean, the screens are big, and that's
Right.
fine. But people have really nice TVs.
I have a nice TV.
I think they need to be like, the sound here is so much better than you would literally lose your deposit
We
if you
promise
ever
you.
tried to make a movie sound like this once at your house.
I mean, that is
It's-
a good
That's a really good
angle
point.
that
Don't turn your volume up and down
it's
every
more
3
that-
seconds on your Vizio
that
soundbar.
home theater audio is garbage, and
If
nothing
nothing
can be
is mixed for what you have at home, you have Harman Kardon sound sticks
It's
plugged
the
in with an aux
hardest thing.
cable.
I got a Vizio soundbar. You
Yeah.
don't understand.
It's a
I have
pretty
a
nice
Vizio
soundbar.
I have a Vizio soundbar.
So
It's
do
still
I.
in it.
I'm just saying you can't win. You get a Bose soundbar. You get a Vizio.
You can either be like, "Hey, it's me,
soundbar.
Tony Dolby, and I'm here to tell you guys." I don't know if that's the name of the family.
Tony Dolby.
They're like the mob, but in audio production
Yeah.
design only.
100%.
You guys watch Northern Exposure? You ever seen Northern?
Is this
Yeah.
the same show you said a minute ago?
No.
What was that one?
I
Southern
abandoned
Lights?
Southland Tales because you weren't.
Do you
into
watch
it,
any
but-
non-directional things? You guys seen Eastern Promises?
The theme song. The theme song of Northern Exposure is mixed so hot it fries your ears and the speakers on your TV,
right.
and then the dialogue is so quiet when you come out of
Not to mention if you have
Listen.
a single ad in what you're watching, they're
Yeah.
like, actually, we have a secret
Yeah.
volume that we
The
took
ad.
from.
And everyone knows, and filmmakers, anyone who's ever made anything knows, like the hardest thing to do and get right is sound. It's the hardest thing. And then you're done, and the film's done,
Yeah.
and now my editor's like, okay, well, I need a different sound mix for what screen is it playing on?
Right.
Where are you going? Wait, you're okay. What are you playing? You have to have all these different mixes for all these different things. So if you watch my movie on your TV, it's going to sound different than when you watch it on your phone. And it's like, okay, what are we
Yeah.
generally mixing this for? What are people going to be watching this on? I'm like, their computer.
I remember seeing Tenet. It was the first time I'd really gone out and done something during the pandemic. I think it came out like later that year, but we had to go to the drive-in because that was the only theater that was
Right.
open. And I was just like, I think I hate this because I'm
Because of
listening
the
through it
sound?
on the speaker on my
your-
windowsill
or in your
car,
car.
and then you're worried about your battery dying, and you have to ask some odd folks to jump
you
you.
don't-
But you're like, I haven't seen it again since then, and I was like, I think I hated that. I don't remember anything anyone said the whole time. It's definitely not mixed for a Nissan Versa. It's like certainly not mixed for a Nissan Versa where one speaker got blown because I blared "Party in the USA" too loud once, and it's like it's just not supposed to be like that. And it's Christopher Nolan who's very meticulous with everything, so I'm sure he's just like,
don't do that.
He's making it to be seen and. He's very particular about it, and so I have no idea if it was good or not. I had such a bad time seeing it that I'm just like, I think this is the most confusing movie ever. And people are like, where'd you see it? And I'm like, out my back windshield, listening through my car. And they're like, well, maybe you just hate it. Like maybe you hated what happened. Like I did also buy spicy chicken nuggets from McDonald's to have there. Like I really set myself up for success.
What did I see? The last drive-in movie during the pandemic I saw was it the Sopranos movie? Am I making
The Many
that up?
Saints of New
That would
York?
be a terrible drive-in movie too. That movie's very slow.
It was. Well, I didn't really watch it.
She fell asleep.
I didn't really watch it.
Great.
But the drive-in is a great place to
Isn't
see
that where you
something
go
you've
to the
seen
drive-in
or a
thing?
loud
Yes.
thing. Like Twister is a good drive-in movie.
Oh,
I know because
God,
the
there's a
tornado
new
tears
Twister
them up.
coming
But
up.
like, yeah,
I love our theme, by the way.
I have a high hope
I
for
love
Twisters.
Our theme.
We're having so much fun.
Tornadoes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going to drive-in movies?
Covina,
I went in Kansas City. I went to one.
that's a long drive.
San Diego.
It was worth it though.
San Diego's
crap.
probably good.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a drive-in movie since the first half of the night.
Well, as soon as that baby's born, show him something
we gotta
new.
find
You know
it.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Do this.
Go see Tenet with your baby at the drive-in. The baby will go back into your wife. That's how Tenet works. I'm sure
Babe, we gotta go to Tenet. Parenting is really hard. We gotta take this kid to Tenet.
Oh man, I mean, it's just like I gave the movie no hope seeing, and then they fight backwards. I don't know if you've seen Tenet, but things happen backwards, and Christopher Nolan, because he can't just put the movie in reverse, he makes them fight backwards in real life. And I'm like mad at him while this is happening, but I'm listening through one speaker in my car with the air conditioner on and the windows open or something, and I'm like, this movie's bad. It's like I'm watching it on my phone while I drive, and I'm like, movie doesn't make sense.
Writing's terrible.
Right, this movie had me hit someone with my car. I've seen a lot of people in LA watching movies while they drive in traffic.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like up on there holding the screen
Oh my
here.
God.
I have something to confess.
Okay.
I watch music videos as I'm driving. I listen to music I love music videos. I love them. And I grew up just obsessed with MTV. So in my car, I'll pull up YouTube and just have songs playing with the music video.
Yeah.
So I can sort of like see what's going on in the music videos they're playing. It's kind of two birds, but do you know what I mean?
Like you're hitting two birds with your car.
Yeah.
Probably. I'm hitting a couple
Bird scooter.
Not like
You're
this,
driving your
but
car
I'm not
into
like
birds in
this.
Franklin
I'm not
Village.
like this.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. I can just sort of get the vibe, and then I'm stopping at a light, and then I'm like, okay, and then someone honks, go bitch, and I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay.
That's not your
drive like
fault
this,
though.
too.
No, I've seen people reading a book
No,
in
that's not
traffic.
facts.
And I'm just like, that's
Wait, like this?
they have like the book curled up on their steering wheel in front
No,
of them,
that's not
like
real.
this sort of thing. Yeah.
Oh.
Even
You calling
books
Kyle
are
a
still
liar?
around.
I would never.
This wasn't
call
like a
Kyle
Kindle.
liar.
I don't know why I thought Kindle was a much bigger deal than a book.
Yeah, wait a minute.
This is like someone just straight up reading. I mean, you always think traffic is. I think LA traffic's a little overblown. I don't think it's as bad as people say. It's very bad. It's
People
also
just
very
want drama in their
avoidable,
life.
and life is very easy. You go anywhere, it's horrible anywhere all the time. I just drove all the way up to Seattle, do shows, and all the way back down. It was bad. It was literally bad anywhere I would be happy being.
People.
I didn't want to spend a minute
the
anywhere
point.
there
It's
was
always
no
a price.
traffic.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
You learn a couple Band-Aid maneuvers in Los Angeles and you're fine. You just need to learn where not to be.
Not
the
to be
rare
at
times.
5 p.m. sometimes.
Don't
Don't
go
it
by
at
the
that
Hollywood
time.
Bowl during the Playboy Jazz Festival. You know what I mean? It's just like a couple little asterisks.
That's the one thing.
You
know-
The one
thing.
caveat is don't go by the Hollywood Bowl during the Playboy. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
have seen North by Northwest. No, I'm just
Stop. Stop. You know, the trick that I just learned, I just did a job on the lot at Fox, and I was staying in Eagle Rock and then had to go all the way over there. And the trick that I figured out, which I'm sure every woman and man and person that wears makeup, you get up you whatever, and you just leave the house. You get to the parking garage, and now you get ready.
Sure.
The getting ready from the car is very.
Then you know exactly how long you have.
Yeah.
To get ready.
And I'm there, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm here, and I'm chill. Like, and so you're getting ready in the car. That's what I'm going to speak for every makeup, hair doing person in Los Angeles does.
I think you're probably correct.
I'm close.
That's a real.
I've been in a
tip.
car with
Real
a
effective.
drag queen getting ready on the way to that show.
Sure.
And you're like, well, yeah, because if you started to do
All
this
this
at home,
time.
you would have had to get ready at 2 a.m. and you would have never known what was going on.
Listen, controversial thought here. I can't wait for self-driving cars. And
I like it too.
and I love driving.
I think, yeah.
Love driving. I love cars. I love driving. I love it. And I cannot wait for self-driving cars. Because think about it. Anywhere. You can go anywhere. You can do anything. What?
I am
Anything.
firmly in the
Anything.
you
Even
should be
sleep.
paid for your commute at least up to a certain amount of time because this is work. No one can live where they work
Yes.
anymore. It's
Yes.
it's literally too expensive to live where you work unless you're the president of the United States. Like it is
fair.
too expensive to live. I don't think Jimmy Fallon can afford to live where the Tonight Show is shot. That's how expensive it is to live there. And it's the only good comedy job in the world. It's so expensive. You should be paid to commute. If I'm a big fan of the idea of self-driving cars once everyone uses them. I think them versus resistant drivers is going to be the uphill battle.
No, this
I
is
think
true.
Once you have self-driving
People are gonna
lifted trucks with
freak
truck
out.
nuts, Missouri will be on board. But I think self-driving Ford F-350s that people drive to a job that is not construction, that'll be a big deal.
That's going to be hard. Yeah.
But I think
that will be a big deal.
I think the biggest problem with self-driving cars is going to be people.
Yeah, and everyone's they're going to buy huge car. It's going to be like
Everyone
an
kicks
apartment.
over the self-delivery little guys all the time.
Yeah,
you
it's
see those
fun.
guys in
Yeah,
like
it's
West
gonna be
Hollywood. Everyone
amazing.
kicks those over.
Yeah.
So I imagine with self-driving cars, people are going to mess with them. It'll just be a
Definitely.
thing. Anyways, this is actually a pretty good transition.
It's a great
into the script
transition.
of the
You're
least
welcome.
self-driving cars in the history of anything.
The least self-driving cars in the history of anything ever.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about Fast and Furious.
42 minutes.
We're 42 minutes
I
in.
know. I was trying to figure out how to tell you.
You're just
Well, that would probably be our second break then. Okay. That's okay.
It's fun banter.
Oh, no.
It's fun.
I'm so happy about it. If I'm not thinking about the time,
That's good.
that
Oh,
always means it's
good.
going well.
Good job.
Or I forgot what time it
Thank
is.
you for letting me do Fast and the Furious. When I was scanning through, I was like, oh, someone already did this.
There was a little while because I don't mind repeats if it's been a little bit. And it's been a lot of it
Okay,
since
good,
this
good,
one. I
good,
think it's even
good.
been like 2+ years.
Okay.
It's like the Sklar brothers, I think, did Fast and the Furious.
Okay.
And that might have been a couple of years.
I
mean,
just got excited at the thought because
yeah.
I've never seen them.
The podcast network existed. That's how long ago it was.
right.
Now it hasn't existed for so long, I can complain about how they owe me money still, even though they closed. Which, have you never
Can I
seen
say
any of the Fast and the Furious? I want to get any
Absolutely none of
prefacing that you
them.
want about Fast and the Furious.
Absolutely. I've seen absolutely none of them, which is also kind of shocking because I love cars.
Yeah.
And I grew up around cars and things like that.
You like them? Have you seen Cars?
I have
Pixar's
seen
Cars. Okay.
yeah.
I'm just trying to
It's fun.
differentiate, see if there's a breaking point for when you'll watch a vehicle movie.
Animation.
If they talk.
Yeah, they have to talk.
Well, hold on. Have you seen
No,
Knight Rider?
I've seen Knight Rider. I've seen
it's
Drive.
talking.
But
What's the one with the beetle with like Hilary Duff? What's that one?
oh god,
And that's
Herbie
Lindsay
Herbie
Lohan.
Hancock.
Herbie-
Herbie Hancock.
Herbie Hancock. Herbie Fully Loaded. Herbie Fully Loaded is just Herbie Hancock's accurate drug use movie. Herbie Hancock is about Herbie. Lindsay Lohan is a superhero who gets drunk.
I cannot even. Like, I feel like my first real car movie, which wasn't a car,
Yeah.
was like Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Okay.
Wasn't
That's
a car,
vehicle
but it's a
movie.
vehicle movie. I just
Well,
like
I mean, I
cars.
like car. I love Drive.
I love Drive.
I have I'll send you a link
I
to
love
it. I
Drive.
have a cut of Drive where I added 200 farts.
Go fuck yourself.
And it's called Fart House Cinema. Was a show that
Stop.
I ran during COVID.
Stop.
So I have an edit of Drive with 200 farts added
Another
to it.
really great car scene that is half car scene is Footloose with the two.
I have not seen Footloose.
What?
When they play chicken, is that what
When
you're
they
talking
play chicken with the farm equipment?
about? Yeah.
Not a to me, that's a car.
That's how
scene.
they get dancing back.
That's how they
is
get
Chicken Farm.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
they run
just
over
sort
people
of-
with their tractors.
It was so. I mean, that shit makes me.
I
So happy.
I love American Graffiti.
I love American.
I think
Graffiti.
it feels so cool. It's such a great movie.
Ahead
The
of our
car stuff is so
time.
cool.
Ahead
It
of our
really
time.
was. It was one of
It
those.
was a real.
Yeah.
It's a
That-
vibe.
That's your
It
movie
was a
review.
vibe.
It was a vibe
real
before that was a thing. I mean, it was the energy of Dazed and Confused before Dazed and Confused
But
like
even-
set up the
but
energy
even-
of doing nothing.
but artsy in
Yeah,
a weird way.
I love American Graffiti.
There's,
I guess I like car things. I'm trying to think.
Is it
Can you
like
think of any other big car
mumblecore
movies besides
before
these?
mumblecore?
Mumblecore.
It was
It definitely
mumblecore
was.
before
Mumblecar.
Mumblecar.
American Graffiti was very
Mumblecar. I think that's that Lindsay Lohan movie, right?
Mumblecar. So, but can I say a couple
I
things?
want to know everything that you want to like have for prefacing having or
Right.
about Fast and Furious.
Well, just FYI, like the layout of this script, if your head goes, she don't know how to write a script. Okay, I don't care that you think that. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
But I'm going to just say I didn't even bother with like interior, blah, 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 blah. I just
No.
kind of wrote it out like that. Do you see?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
you left out the boring stuff?
Yeah, I just, do you know, I just got into it.
yeah, that's great.
And I just went for it. And then also, I really didn't make any changes.
That's great. I
Like
think
a
part
good
of
wheel
Because-
man, it's all flow state.
Because
It's
I
all,
thought it was
Yeah.
it's very flow state, and
Great.
I kind of like if there's a mistake that will make me laugh.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's also nice to write something once for something and not have edits.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
feedback.
Normally I get in my own way.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? Stop.
Try and write something I will do this when I'm writing something for someone to read where I'm like, and now you have to fix everything they would tell you to fix and you just
Right.
overthink everything.
And also, yeah, and when I go back in, a lot of times it's like, oh, now I get to be smart. Now I get to be smart. when it's absolutely the smartest from the get.
Yeah.
So don't try to
Yes.
now go be smart.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking of you guys and I'm thinking of your audience, like, oh no, will they da-da-da. I'm like, just don't do that.
These people are very forgiving.
So, okay. So,
So what is there
can I
anything you
cast
know
this?
about you cast it up however you'd like? Is there anything you know that you want to be like, here's what I do know about Fast and Furious coming in? Is there, or do we, if not, we can talk about it after.
I think I kind of put it in the script.
Okay, cool.
But we can talk about it after. How's
Great.
that?
Perfect.
So Vin Momoa, which I do kind of explain. Kyle, will you be Vin Momoa?
Yes.
Will you play the voice, which is Blaze, which is a pregnant woman in the back seat
Okay.
of the car? I'll read all the stage directions. I will play Large Marge. Okay.
Did you know Vin Diesel is short for Vehicle Identification Number Diesel?
Stop! Stop! Kyle.
Sorry, thought of that at a gas station.
I think I want to be your roommate. I actually think I've made a decision. I don't think you have a choice, but oh god,
What about Jakey?
Jakey. Well, then maybe you know what? You be Jakey,
Okay.
and I'll be the girl in the back.
Cool.
So I'm going to be voice / Blaze. You be Jakey.
I'm Jakey.
You're Vin Momoa. I'm going to be Large Marge.
Great.
And then will you be Orion? Who's
Yeah.
the bad person?
Oh, hell yeah.
Orion. And I believe that's it. God, you guys, you just see how I'm like, I even forgot characters.
I will say this, but you're already in the upper echelon of formatting because I would say 75% of the people who write a script for the show don't know how to edit the title page.
Oh, don't know how to hit title page.
Yeah,
do
and
it.
go change that. So it's a lot of
It
untitled.
always says the
and- yeah,
untitled
yeah.
written by.
Uh-huh. And I still print it out for some reason.
Great.
Love it.
So it's the first 6 pages, but it's also like the entire film.
Perfect. That's
Do
exactly
you know
what we
I
would
mean?
love.
It's
Yeah.
also literally the entire film. Because I realized when I was writing it, I began this film and I can actually end it at page 5.
It's great. That's great.
Okay, I haven't. Okay, so are we recording? Okay, so I'm trying to figure do I need my glasses or not? I think I need to do this and then do this. Okay. All right, are we ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. The Fast and the Furious 69, Demolition Derby by Jenn Harris. We open in black. Honk, 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 honk. The sound of a car honking increases to a bunch of cars honking. It's a lot of cars and it's loud. We bump into an extreme close-up of a radiator that looks sort of like the mouth of a catfish at the front of a car. But this isn't just any old car radiator. It's a strong radiator, a reliable radiator, a radiator that's seen some shit and had some sex. We pedestal up to reveal Vin Diesel in the driver's seat, but it could also be The Rock or Jason Momoa or any guy who does MMA fighting who isn't on trial for something at the time of filming. Vin Momoa, unlike the radiator, is fuming and honking his horn in a fit. We open up to reveal Lakeshore Drive, Chicago. Big gridlock with one bright white Lamborghini from the 80s smack in the middle of this mess. That's Vin Momoa, and that explains the catfish-looking radiator.
God damn it, this traffic's got me furious.
Can't you go any faster?
No!
We whip to reveal a woman in the back seat, Blaze, 18 to 22 years in age, yet carries herself with the life experience of a 65-year-old who built her own gas station and saved the town from some oil company or a flood. She's sweating, wearing see-through lingerie through see-through clothes. She's in labor. Then at least stop the honking. A blood orange Bugatti slowly rolls up next to Vin Momoa with Word Up by Cameo blasting through its
We might be able to get the rights to that, honestly.
Please. In the driver's seat is Jakey, a 26 to 55-year-old guy.
Specific.
Who loves pranks and his mom just as much as his car collection. Jakey can only speak in sarcasm or else he'll cry.
Looks like you got your size 12 hands full again, bro. And I'm not talking about the LSD, if you catch my drift. Speaking of drift, check out what I got installed in the Gotti, if you're not too busy sitting around in that snowflake ride.
I love the Gotti because it just becomes John Gotti
Right.
when abbreviated.
Right, for a Bugatti. I love it. Close up on a shot of a switch in Jakey's car. He flips it up and triggers the Bugatti into Inspector Gadget mode, straight up in the air about 100 feet, where he zooms off above and out of traffic, leaving an ungodly trail of exhaust and somehow lots of those black drift marks all over the other cars in traffic. Friend of yours?
Something like that.
As much as I'm enjoying breaking water all over back here, does this Back to the Future relic go into me in a hospital bed mode?
That was a DeLorean, sweetheart. And no. But I think I know someone who can.
Vin Momoa whips out a walkie-talkie from under his visor.
Breaker, 19er, Mayday, this is Lambo to Large Marge. Come in, Large Marge.
Cut to the inside of a Chicago PD helicopter that's circling maybe the boat show downtown, or if it's not racist, circling above the south side. This is Large Marge. Come in, Lambo. Large Marge is the actress who played Large Marge in Pee-wee's Playhouse.
I thought so.
If producers want to cast someone else, pull the script. We're not making Fast and Furious 69 Demolition Derby without her.
You seeing this grid, LM?
Sure do. It's fucking up parking for the boat show. Something awful.
Well, I'm stuck on LSD and I got a lady in labor who's already blown a gasket.
The predicaments I pull you out of.
Come on, Marge, I'll owe you something serious.
Tell your backseat mama to do some Kegels. I'll be there in 2. The helicopter makes a sharp turn and heads over traffic jam, just as In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins begins. Large Marge throws down ropes from the helicopter, and Vin slides out of the window of his Lambo to clip the ropes to the roof somehow, all while still driving in traffic, which is unnecessary because he's in gridlock. Because of sound design, the car is now attached and lifted above traffic and carried safely to the roof of a hospital, where Blaze is gurneyed inside. But we have another problem. The landing pad is now surrounded by a car gang. It's Going Down by Young Jock comes in. This is a a gang Vin Momoa knows all too well. The gang who's responsible for taking the lives of not only his brother, but also his 18 cousins, 3 past girlfriends, his butcher, and most importantly, the man who was there for everything, who raised him when his dad left, taught him how to lift weights, robbing bad banks, trading cattle, but most importantly, how to drive. His high school driving instructor, Mr. Bagley. We feel the hate and fear in Vin Momoa's eyes. A glare off of a car's reflection captures the pendant around his really fit chest, a little gold Toyota Corolla with the word Bagley across it. Vin Momoa struts to the center of the car circle, and all of the cars do the hydraulic thing, where they aggressively bounce up and down like lions or bears about to attack, but they're cars. A menacing man, flanked by about 10 other menacing men and one really mean woman, walks up to Vin Momoa. This is Orion. He's 47, the leader, mean, and must have scars on his face.
Well, well, well. Looky who's had another emergency.
Hey, you would know.
We cut to shots of the gang bearing their fists, chains, one with a crowbar. One flashes the grills on their teeth that spell out murder. And another twirls a really long chain with a shitload of keys on the end.
What do you want from me, Orion? You've already taken everything.
You know what I want.
I don't.
I want the child.
Is Blazes? I'm not the father, friend.
I'm no one's friend.
A windshield from one of the cars cracks and breaks.
From yelling?
Yeah, from him yelling. From him yelling, I'm no one's friend.
Shockingly, I'm also not the father. But whatever rides with you belongs to me. And I'm gonna take it, motherfucker.
Over my dead body.
So be it. I just have one question.
And what's that?
Where do I send your body?
A big giant fight ensues.
Yeah.
Vin Momoa happens to destroy everyone who comes at him. The hydraulic cars even start fighting Vin's Lambo like a demolition derby. But the Lambo defeats all of the other cars, leaving the landing pad an enormous junkyard of dead cars and dead bad guys and one mean girl. Orion, now laying busted and bleeding across the hood of a 1967 Chevy Impala, slowly and dramatically glares up at Vin Momoa. Vin Momoa clutching his pendant.
You could tell the devil not to expect my body anytime soon. Till then, keep hell warm for me.
As Vin Momoa, exhausted but still looking strong and hot, walks towards the entrance to the hospital, we see the Impala and Orion explode into a burst of flames and loudness. The other cars each explode, now leaving only Vin's white Lambo intact. The noise of the explosions fade out as the sound of a baby crying fades in and then overlaps with a Lil Jon cover of Take My Breath Away. Blackout. You guys did a great cold read.
Oh,
It's
thank
the writing.
you.
It's the writing.
You did
is.
such a great cold read.
I was worried I was too Sylvester Stallone in my Vin Diesel.
I thought you were great.
They're
Thank
the
you.
same person, so it's good.
Thank
It was
you.
a baby, Vin Momoa.
Oh man, I mean, I'm probably pretty close. I don't know. Here's the thing about Fast and Furious is I have no idea which ones I've seen.
But you've seen some.
I think I've seen 6 or 2. Like I don't know how many of them and which
Yeah.
ones they are.
I don't think it... Does it matter?
They don't seem. At some point, they quit being about car racing,
Oh, okay.
but I don't remember when.
do
And
we
I remember
know
liking a lot of them.
Do we know what they're about?
Now they're all like this, like big giant heist explosion,
Right. That's-
military involved,
Right.
sort of. They're like
Sure.
super cops who are bad guys hired by the cops to do stuff cops can't a lot.
Right.
But I don't remember. Fast X is one of them, but I don't know if that means there's 10.
Yeah.
Movies are also bad at naming with the number. I was just talking to someone last night about how Bad Boys for Life was the 3rd one.
Doesn't make any
And
sense.
now there's
doesn't.
about to be a 4th one,
What now? What?
and they've already used that title. And I'm like, well, Fast X might not be the 10th one.
Might not.
I have no idea. But this is easily could be one of them.
Yeah. I think my idea of Fast and Furious is the most like male audience driven thing that could possibly be. And I say that, and like I'll probably really like them.
Yeah, I think the good ones are really fun. There's this like sweet spot where they seem to know what they are.
That's perfect.
And have
That
a
is
really, really good time with
heaven,
them.
heaven.
Yeah. And then I would
Heaven.
say The Rock destroyed them.
Did
It's too big.
He sort of showed up.
too big?
First off, he's too big and physically to be a regular person who you think has a job. He's
Right.
like, I'm a special agent. You're like, know you're fucking not, dude.
You're-
No one that big could like use doors, and like, it's insane. He's too big to be around,
Right.
And then he
Aw.
kind of he makes his own spin off of them, and he wasn't. I don't know. There's just a sweet spot.
well, I really look. If they know what they are,
Fast Five
if
is my
they-
favorite one.
great. If they know what they are and they're now making them like that, then I straight up am like, my goal is to.
I
direct
don't know
one.
if they are still good after
My goal.
they didn't go as good after Fast Five for me.
You know what a car's
I know what a car
biggest
is.
enemy in nature is?
A rock.
A rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's metaphor.
Yeah.
Now, Jen, what were you trying to say with this film?
Is it a
Do you have
metaphor?
do you have a message
Do I have a metaphor for this film?
or a message that you were trying to get across with this script?
Well, what I'm really trying to do is to. I'm pitching myself to direct one.
I think it would be great.
I mean, honestly, I would absolutely love that.
I would if this franchise turned into very like individuals directing their vision of them would be absolutely heaven.
I mean,
I would love that if they were like this person's taking on this and just their sort of vision applied to a thing. Like this became almost like like Stephen King books where people just take them and
Right.
do their individual
I'm gonna
telling
do
of
my
the
thing
story.
of it.
That would be really fun. And I think Vin Diesel would be down.
that would be amazing.
He seems happy. I don't know. Maybe they're done. I keep having all these conflicting
imagine.
thoughts. I feel like they might have ended with the last one, but
Do you think it has to be the same cast of characters and acting on
I think
screen?
it would be hard to transition away from Vin Diesel. But they did transition away from Paul Walker for some reason at one point, and
Well,
that
he-
still
It was
worked
like
out.
For some reason.
It was like
Oh my
contract.
God.
You would think it would be because he died, but he was
Right.
still in that
no,
one
he actually
driving
was
a car.
Right.
He still
right.
drove a car in the end of that
Right.
one CGI'd.
Right.
Is Tokyo Drift like canon, or does it
Oh, that's
sit
right,
outside?
I think
Drift.
they end up because Vin Diesel shows up at the end of Tokyo Drift.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler.
For a person who hasn't seen any of them, you could put, again, Vin, Momoa, someone who's like been fighting MMA, Michelle Rodriguez, like whoever, and I'd be like, oh, that's a Fast and Furious film.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
It's the cars.
Ronda Rousey is in them, I
Yeah.
believe, for a little bit, and they're just a pretty easy pun vehicle for like I'm not that great at acting, but I'm charismatic
I mean,
to like really care. Although I think Jason Momoa is good at acting and hyper charismatic, but
For
like,
sure. I would 100%, my version would like star like Parker Posey.
Oh
Like,
my God.
And also, but as a really good driver.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like not a joke. Like
Right.
I love, but have them be really good. I
Yeah.
want everyone to be a really good driver.
I
You're
would love
saying-
that.
You're saying you have like Michael Mann does one and Wes Anderson does one. Like the cast, Wes Anderson, part of what makes him is he casts.
There's no way
this
Bill
stuff.
Murray has a driver's license, so I don't know if
Also,
Wes
can
Anderson
I-
could possibly have it.
I mean, I'm just going to out myself on this, but the last thing I want to watch is a Wes Anderson version.
What if
of
cars were centered in a frame?
a
I don't know.
lot, to be
Remember the
honest.
Royal Tenenbaums montage where they're doing the go karts through? It could work.
Yeah,
It could work.
I would watch Wes Anderson directing Mario Kart.
Remember how visceral Owen Wilson's car crash was off camera in Royal Tenenbaums?
It's not the right. I
honestly-
need someone who will still. I don't know if I want them all to look visually like that director's
No,
complete aesthetic,
Honest,
but I would love so much if they gave a bunch of different directors free reign on them.
and I would fight for my life to do one of them.
I would be down for
fight
that.
for my life. The only let's get off of Wes Anderson after I say this.
Way ahead of you.
But the only
The only reason Nolan likes
I
him is
know.
because his name is almost a direction.
Wow.
He likes
This
North
theme is
Anderson
so
as well,
fun.
and
North
South
East
Anderson.
I love my runner
only-
this episode.
The only
You know his favorite director? Clint Eastwood. Ooh. I'm rocking myself.
the only film that I want to watch Wes Anderson make is the live action film of moving the Mona Lisa from upstairs to downstairs. That's the only film that I want to see. Wouldn't it be great?
That good story.
Yeah, I mean, very
But that's
mundane. I would watch if Wes Anderson was like, I'm doing a Rube Goldberg biopic.
I don't
Like,
know
I
who that
watched
is.
the guy who makes those complicated machines. You know, like a Rube Goldberg machine is like
Like
how
Goonies.
sort of
Like
like
Goonies, you know?
how Ferris Bueller makes it look like he's sleeping in the room because a ball drops and hits a thing that moves a thing.
Oh,
that moves
yes,
a
okay,
thing
okay,
that
okay,
triggers.
okay.
He's
Yes,
like the
yes,
overly
that's-
complicated machines for no
That's
reason
it.
guy.
Anyway, let's move along.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one more thing to say about Wes Anderson.
Hurry.
I don't have anything. It
Hurry.
was a joke and it was worth it. Okay, we can move on.
Yeah, but I would Michael Mann, let's do it. Honestly, if Francis Ford Coppola was like, I'm gonna do it, I would donate to that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I need to see someone. I just want people to
Or
be able to
me.
take the,
You
I would
would.
donate
Or
to yours
me.
in a heartbeat.
You
I would
would.
show up and work on yours.
Thank you.
I'd load the prop gun with a bullet. Sorry.
Is that you?
Sorry.
Did you do that?
I'm
Yeah, you're
sorry.
just gonna have to cut
prank.
that
You're
from.
just gonna have to cut
really
that.
cut
Some of my
ep-
jokes are a little rusty. I'm sorry.
My episode.
Oh, if you think you're the
Kyle.
only episode I've made a joke
Kyle.
about rust on,
It's so wild.
yeah,
Anyway,
it is a horrible tragedy.
What did I? What you? I don't. I didn't have any. I didn't. What did I want to say with this? I just think it's fun.
It was fun.
I just think it's. I think those
goofy,
films
silly.
are so fun.
I like that you just sat down and wrote it. And
What's your favorite film franchise that you would put with like how how many of these have? Whatever, however many, 10, 15,
Yeah.
8. What's your favorite
007.
franchise? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Bond movie?
I mean, Casino Royale.
Casino Royale. Casino Royale is very good.
I love the Daniel Craig. I just was like, these are fabulous.
I've gotten in
I don't like the old ones, but I love
virtual screaming matches. I've gotten really upset with people online who will be like, the Casino Royale poker scene is unrealistic poker. And I'm like, it's fucking James Bond movie.
It's also
I
a
get so
movie.
upset.
It's a movie.
And they're like, the odds of this happening. I'm like, yeah, well, the odds of a lot of this stuff happening is crazy. It's a James
movie.
Bond movie.
It's a movie.
Imagine if all the normals, like he just gets coffee. It's not a movie.
It is funny. People will watch stuff and they're like, that would never happen.
the percentage
Yeah.
of that being a two of hearts?
It's
We're
a-
trying to
yeah.
take you out of your life.
Yeah.
Not. I just.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the craziest shit happened? Yes.
Yes.
And that's why I want to
And
watch
that's
it.
Yeah.
why we're
I love
watching
Casino Royale. I love Skyfall. I think
Skyfall.
Skyfall's the best Bond song.
It's a good song.
I think it is the best
It's-
Bond song. I saw
Thanks.
someone do it at karaoke at a tiki bar, and they bombed. And I'm like, this is.
I'm
I want to watch everything fold like a Bond intro
Right,
credits.
right.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it's really great. I love them.
I'm excited to see who they do next.
Me too. Are you? What's your favorite franchise?
I do really like the Bond things.
I love the Bonds.
I'm trying to think of a film
Cars.
franchise. I've
Cars.
seen all of them.
Aston Martins.
Toy Story might be my favorite film franchise.
Fair.
I love all
Fair.
of them. Even
God, they're funny.
they kept being too many, and I still didn't mind it.
They're funny.
Because when the fourth one came out, I was like, "There's no way they have more to say." And then I really actually
great.
loved the idea of how do you turn a page in your life after the biggest, most impactful events happen, because that does happen to a lot of people, and then it still is tomorrow.
Yeah, it's great.
And I love that. And the fork was funny.
Oh my God, that fork was really funny.
Forky.
Forky.
Tony Hill.
Do you think the film adaptations of Stephen King books count as a franchise?
No.
No,
they're
because
all-
I wouldn't
it's not
consider
produced by all the same people,
Shawshank Redemption in the same world as
Green
Maximum
Mile.
Overdrive.
But it is.
You named the one I would consider it in
Yeah,
the same
same
world
director.
as. Like those are very similar.
But Stephen King's works are all canonically in the same universe, though. They're all happening.
His books.
And transitively, does that apply to
No,
I think with him it's co-canonically.
Yeah. I think doesn't it? It has to be the same like producers, like the producers.
Yeah, I
I
need
mean,
you to.
I buy that,
I
but-
needed to. I wouldn't consider those, but that's a great question posed by Nolan.
Yeah, it's, whoever just Googled that. Just
That
thanks.
and directions.
I would
are my
be.
legacy
I would
on the
love to
show.
talk about them because I do like a lot of his movies, but I don't consider them to be in the same thing in the film world at all.
What is your favorite franchise? Or one you enjoy?
I like the Mission Impossibles.
I
They're
do
very
too.
good,
I
too.
do
They're very
too.
The
good.
first one was so good. I didn't watch it until like 2 years ago. I was like, this is a great
They're
movie.
great. They are great. Did you the last one? Did you see part one?
Love the
Yes,
last
I did.
one.
Yeah.
Very excited for part 2.
Yeah.
Really, truly,
That train falling off. I did
Yeah.
all.
it
the
was
research
incredible. I
on
love. Everyone was so
It's
excited for
incredible.
that.
It wasn't realistic though.
You know, people. Everyone kept sharing the motorcycle stunt because that was their big promo for the movie.
Right, right.
It made
but
me
the
so
train-
happy that wasn't the crux stunt of the movie.
Yeah.
Because it felt like such a good misdirect on their part.
It was-
You were like the train scene was so tight.
It was so great. And you know how they filmed that. Yeah. Oh, God. There's so much on that. It's the best.
There is just constant teetering. Tom Cruise is doing like Michael Jackson levels of, if I make stuff that's super cool, I can get away with anything about my personal life. It is like absolutely wild.
I was just going to say, this is going to go a dark way. And then you did. You went there.
But he is the line. People are like, well, how? And I'm like, oh, so whatever he's doing.
So.
Michael Jackson's on the radio every 5 seconds.
That's true.
A musical just came out on Broadway.
Yeah,
like
sure did.
It's not like we're I mean, that's how good Thriller is. We found the line.
We did.
It's way up there.
It's up there.
It's Thriller.
It is the line.
Yeah, but Tom Cruise found the line and then jumped a motorcycle over it and parachuted down. I think what would you put the % chance that he dies shooting a movie?
No, I don't think so.
He's going to space.
That's fine.
Okay, 100.
Honestly,
Yeah, in Scientology, you don't die. You
That's true.
abandon.
What's the % chance he ascends making a movie?
I've never seen it.